Hi everyone, so today we have an analysis of the Missouri Senate race between Clay McCaskill, the incumbent Democrat, and Josh Hawley, the Missouri Attorney General from the Republican Party. So, we have some polling data that we'll be looking at in a matchup between Hawley and McCaskill. And then we also have the primary info from the New York Times. We have the Missouri State Senate elections from Ballotpedia, which we actually don't need. We have the 2012 results from the state of Missouri between Clay McCaskill and Todd Akin. And then finally, we also have some polling data from the previous matchups. So, going into the 2018 Senate race, all the three major political pundits rate this one as a toss-up. It could go either right or it could go to the left. So we can start off by looking at some polling data that we're getting between Hawley and McCaskill. So starting off, the RCP average is Hawley plus 0.2. But we have to consider that this is also taking into effect some Republican polls such as Remington Research. The latest poll that came out from the Missouri Scout has it as a tie, 47 to 47. I don't know what just happened there. There we go. So looking like a very close race. McCaskill +1, a tie in the most recent polls. Then if you go down to all the polling data, you can see that McCaskill's lead once was with the Missouri Scout +4, then later but now it is a tie. So very interesting numbers. And then these four polls at the bottom were actually done by a Republican poll. So as you can see, already setting up a very close matchup between Hawley and McCaskill. But now, sticking with polling, let's look at the 2012 map of the Senate results between Clay McCaskill and Todd Akin. So obviously Akin is a very controversial candidate. You can see some of the final polls had her up. Even this Democratic poll still had her up by 4 points and then 15 points. I think this one's a bit of a fluke, but then 4 points and 2 points. And many of these ones had McCaskill ahead. Even some at the very beginning, some Democratic polls even had Todd Akin ahead, but then once these comments sort of started to settle in, McCaskill jumped into a lead. So if we look at that, but we can also look at the results. So the average poll had McCaskill ahead by 6.3% out of these polls. It's probably more like about 3 or 4%, because I believe this one, Survey USA, is a bit of a fluke. If you look at some other Survey USA polls, if I can find any, this one was a bit of a fluke. So Survey USA, not necessarily the most reliable poll. So already with this polling, typically underestimates McCaskill. But let's now look at we've already looked at that. Let's look at the primary data. 605 votes on the Democratic side, 663 votes, both of these obviously in 100,000 form. On the Republican side, you can see very long list of Republicans wanting to try and unseat McCaskill, but obviously Josh Hawley was the one to have that. So obviously more votes on the Republican side, but less votes individually for Josh Hawley compared to Clay McCaskill. Obviously, both of them sweeping every county, and except one county there, Johnson County, not really important for right now. So if you go all the way through to the bottom, we can see some of the other one. Obviously, there's some interesting results in all of these ones. But overall, if you go all the way down to the end and you look at the right to work law, it's gonna look pretty good for McCaskill, because this no vote would tend to align more with Democrats, and yes, tend to align more with Republicans. So if there's 937,241 no votes, then some of them have got to be coming from Hawley. Not all of them can make up the McCaskill and even the entire Democrats. So very interesting things that we're seeing in the Missouri Senate race. It's going to be very, very close, but the polling sort of had it dead even. But then if you look at her previous election, it sort of looks pretty good for her going into the midterm elections. So very close. If I had to if I had to choose one at the moment, I would probably give the slight tilt over to McCaskill because she has won in 2006 and 2012 against Republican opponents. One thing I forgot to bring up was the 2016 results, which sort of all those things would probably lean it Democratic, but because of the 2016 election results with Trump overwhelmingly carrying the state, I'm moving it to the tilt margin. So far, Missouri goes to the Democrats. In previous ones, we have Nevada, where I gave the lean over to Rosen, Arizona, where again, the lean over to Sinema. Then we went up to North Dakota, where I gave a tilt over to Kevin Cramer. Then down to Texas, where I gave the lean over to Ted Cruz. And then also in the state of Montana, where I gave the lean over to John Tester, And now in Missouri, I'm giving the tilt over to Claire McCaskill. The next one I'll be doing, I believe I'll have to look, but some upcoming ones are Florida, Tennessee, Indiana, and states like that. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.